All right, so lab 5, PathRunner Revisited. This is basically, again, I've attached the document from the 1303 class where you do the exercise. You're going to be rebuilding in C++. For those of you who took the Unity course, 1343 Game Simulation 1, same assignment, but in C++. In fact, you will find like the tactics that you used in that, particularly in that course, are going to apply here. Let's just go to refresh. It doesn't say in the document. I'm going to add some extra credit down here. Redoing the PathRunner in Blueprint is going to be extra credit. And it might be a good exercise to but the idea here is you have a path point. I've got BP at the end. I'd probably do BP path point. So just give you. So I've done this in the opposite order that I'd write this. But I would make a path point actor. Make this in C. And then I would then make an actor that is that has something in Blueprint to mark the place. And it would be literally an empty actor. Set up object obvious facing. Why am I? Obvious facing forcing is down the x-axis, by the way. Just to remind you. We're used. A lot of you are used to going down the z-axis because you're working in Unity. Reminder: x is your forward direction. It's the needed forward direction. But here is a pathless actor of array of actors. It's public. A path with index integer default to 0. It should be public. Current point. Does it need to be public? Not really. Move speed default to 500 because it's Unreal. That's like maybe 0.5 relative to Unity. Move directions of vector 3. Point within range. It's going to float. Default to 50. Public. This might be too small. That might need to be bigger just to be on the So just be forewarned. Has dynamic direction. You know what this is doing. It's just updating the direction. Methods. Again, next path point. Set move direction, move runner. Now you don't actually need to use the move runner function. We needed that in Blueprint because it made our lives much easier. But you don't need to. Check distance and update. This is basically was wrapping two things together. This was again another function that made our lives easier in Blueprint, but not necessary. And this is why I call back to those of you who have gone through the Unity course. I mean, I had basically 4 functions. One of them, two of the functions were used together effectively. But again, on begin play, sets the current path point to items in the path list. Calls sets up the object to function. On tick, if active is true, then calls move runner. Passing delta seconds to the function. Again, we don't need that. Again, we can write that all in the code itself. And then calls check distance and update. We can do that without the additional function. And we did it. Place 4 path points in a row, path or path runner in the level. Assign the path points, in the array details tab. Do you have a question, Troy, or are you just stretching? Stretching, okay. Again, it's referring to the previous lab. You had place 3 characters scene. Again, you had the previous. I mean, you can do this in the level that you did the procession lab, and you could have another path runner go between the 3 that are in the scene. Baby running to adults effectively. And so extra credit still this applies. I'm still looking for just the basic math this is the requirement you need to do. Extra credit down here using has dynamic direction. So May object create a blueprint class inherits from a core C++ to add a static metric, and that's I would probably do this. I mean, you can add the static. I mean, one of the options is complete this assignment using C++ alone. You won't create any new blueprint classes inheriting from the assignment's C++ classes. So this is going in. Remember, I showed you that you can grab an object and set that up in C++ code. If you want to do this all in C++ and no blueprint, and set those objects, for the path point or the path point. The idea is that it's not visible in game. Create a path point C++ class and store references of that class instead of the actor. I'm actually going to do the assignment. I'm going to show you. I'm going to go. No, I'm not going to. This is extra credit because this is asking you to create the path points in a particular way. You're using your array will be of type path points. That path point class as opposed to just generic actors. So make another class updated, for that. This is how you would set up your array in Blueprint. So it's an actor array. And this is how the C++ header formats it. It is uProperty blueprint read write editor defaults only category equal PathRunner. And they're using the T array angle brackets of a actor references to a actor, so pointers of a actors, and we've called it path list. So let's jump in. Let's open the level. And for our sake, I'm going to save as, and I'm just going to call it lab 5. So I'm going to keep, let me grab these. I'm just going to move them up to 1500. Just to keep them out of the way. And I'm going to move this back. Just so I've got a bigger view of when I start. I'm the camera on the characters. I'll get a bigger view. Let's start with our tools. Let's go to C++, new C++ class. It's going to be an actor. This is going to be I'll call it the path point. And we have everything open. Let me close all tabs. I don't need you open. Okay. Is Unreal? All right, still adding code to the project. So really, I do want to go in. I do want to go into that class for one moment. There we go. Okay. So in the constructor, reload all. Just turn this to false because it's not actually going to tick. We actually don't need a begin play. We don't need any other information. So I'm literally going to just turn off can never tick in the CPP, and I'm going to take out the tick and the. So I'm going to take out begin play and take out because I don't need them. This is just literally a holding class for that information. I'm just going to save that. To make our lives easier, looks like I'm doing all my work in here. I'm going to create a new blueprint class. I'm just going to look path point. This is BP. And I'm going to use, and I'm going to use a cylinder for the sake of argument. I'll use the door. It's got yellow and orange or yellow, depending on how you're looking at it. It's funky. And I'm just going to make this, make it half the size. And is it, I think I need to move this up 25. So it's going to sit at the scene root. The one thing I am going to do is under rendering, there is hidden in game. I'm going to turn that on. So basically these are markers to be set in the scene. They don't have any collision. And that's the other thing I'll want to do is just make sure and go to its collision. Collision preset, no collision. So these are literally just markers in the editor for our path points. Compile, we can go back and path point. And I'm going to do I'll do 500, negative 500. I could go bigger. And I just did a copy and paste. So I'm just going to flip that over right there. To copy, paste, and then I'm just going to flip these over to the positive 750. So hooray, I've got my 4 path points as I needed. You know, I'm using 4, but I could have made a star, I could have made a hexagon, I could have made an octagon, I could do something that goes up and down all over the place. No big deal. So those are my path points. And you can see again, they are rooted at the root. So keep that in mind as we go forward. All right. So make sure I've saved everything. I can close that. All right. Let's make now our PathRunner. Tools, new C++ class. Again, another actor. And this is going to be the PathRunner. Great class. All right, so let's go back to our document because it has a wonderful list of things we need to throw in. I'm just going to grab, because these are literally the variable names that we want to use. All right, here's the .h. All right, I'm gonna put these down in the public area. Yeah, I'm gonna make these all public for the sake. I'm gonna put these in a comment block just so that it's not. So the first one is a bool is active. Set that to true. And I need to pull this over for one moment. So these are going to be U property blueprint read write. So I'm going to be able to change these in Blueprint as I see fit. And then I'm going to do the category. I'll just call this runner values. So I'm literally going to tag everything with this, pretty much this U property. I'm actually going to go in and I'll do edit defaults only. I'll tag that as well. Next, and again, it wants to basically this is the so this is, again, this is going to come in the, well, we'll see this in the editor when I compile. This will show up with this variable. So this is how we can add those editor notes and hints. All right. Again, we talked about we needed a T array. And it's going to be a actor. And we're using references, so it's going to be a pointer to that array. And this is going to be our path list. Again, I'm going to just tag all of these. I don't need that bool. There we go. This is the list actors to path. I believe then we've got in 60, what was it, 32. Oh, and I did not terminate the line. That's why I chilled about. Okay, I believe it's an int 32. Path with index. I'll just set that as 0 to default. And then this is going to be the index. Current point is going to be of type A actor. I'm gonna not make this. I'm gonna leave this as it is right now. This usually wouldn't be public. This is private. Let me see. This is a float move speed. Let me see. Let me grab this. This is. This is. Move speed. We know that we want to vector. if vector move direction. Again, these are, I will actually, let's make these private. There we go. We do need point within range. This is another float. Let's just grab this. Has dynamic, again, these are booleans. So I'm going to just grab, I'm going to do this up here. Does the PathRunner update direction each tick? Okay, so those essentially, again, I'm going to keep current these internal. These are just basically internal. I don't want them public. Like I shouldn't be, external things should not be coming in and playing with these. So I'm going to keep these private as we would have done in Unity anyways. I do need a couple functions, and this is going to be next. Do set next path point. I've done void. Come on. Void set move direction. And then I am going to do a bool is close to target. So those are the three that, again, there is a get distance to function. I'm not going to worry about the get distance to function. That was basically, again, I'm not going to write that function because you guys, at this point, the Unity version of this assignment has you write that to show you, hey, you can write functions that do that other functions can use, and it was making you jump through hoops to jump through hoops. We don't need to. All right, so let's grab. So now that I've got these, let's just grab these right now, and we can go up to the CPP file, paste these in, and then attach these to the class. And then it's yelling. And then this is return. I'm going to do, and this is just basically so I have something right here. Because this is returning a bool, I just want to make sure I have that. Set next path point. This is pretty straightforward. This is a, hey, path point. Hold on, let me. Oh, it's a path list. Sorry, path list index ++. Again, if path list index is greater than or equal to the path list what's going on? this is max. Here we go. It's the num. Okay, and this is it is a function. So what we want is basically the num. Again, go through, look at what the functions are, but num is what we were looking for. It turns the number of elements in the array. So if it's greater than or equal to that, then path list index is equal to 0. Then again, this is nothing new. And then finally, again, path list uses those brackets, again, using our index. So pretty straightforward. Sorry. Current point, is equal to. And this is, we're going to go grab current point. We're going to go grab this and go up to begin play and basically be like, hey, actually, we could. So we'll always go to the start, I think I have this public right now, for the sake of seeing in the editor, but for our purposes, I mean, I can go and change the view properties so we don't. It's not. It's only readable but not writable. But yeah, this is basically begin play set. I mean, we could call, set this to -1 and call next path point. We definitely are going to call set move direction though. Again, the idea is that the state, our PathRunner is a state machine by it's a small state machine, but we're setting everything up so that we're entering into its move to state. Basically, it's move to the functionality is move to next state. When we get there, set everything up to move to the next one. That's essentially each point we move to essentially it's its state, effectively. Again, we talked about in another class. Let's do set move direction. So f vector. There we go. F vector direction. Let's do F. Get get actor location. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. F vector, and I'm going to do this. It's just not dot. It's the arrow because it's a pointer. This is going to make our lives easier. That makes this basically point location minus our location. Direction dot normalize, and it's a function. What is it yelling about? Oh, it's returning. Wait. It's returning back a Boolean. So it's so what it really the code what it wants is that, and then there we go. So that's going to set the move direction. One thing I'm going to do with the direction dot z, we'll set that to 0. So we're gonna make sure we're gonna move. We're not gonna go. Wait a second. What do you think about this? No, this is not what I want to do. I do want to keep. I want to keep the. What I do want to do is. I do want. So basically this is going to set the move direction. I'm going to set the facing as well. This is so. This will keep the. So this is going to keep it from looking up and down, so it will stay flat. And then this is basically set actor rotation. And there's multiple versions of it. F rotator. There we go. F rotator from Euler. And this is going to be direction. So basically, we're going to take the Euler. So basically, with the vector 3, it's the Euler, which is yaw pitch roll. We're going to shove that into the rotator, make it so we'll take it from the vector 3 and shove it into Unreal's rotator class. Again, if you guys don't remember, if I haven't told you, this class exists because it existed in Unreal Engine 1. And Unreal Engine 1 did some funky things with rotations. It was literally basically took like an int32 and split it across its max value. So like 90 degrees was like 1600 and 180 was 32. Again, they took the max integer and split it all the degrees across that value. Yeah. It was the 90s, people. We had some weird we were doing some weird things to cut down on calculations. Is this a problem anymore? No. Those, if you're curious, Scientific American actually has an article about Quake 3. So this would be Unreal 99 and Quake 3 are the contemporary of the two we're talking about. And Quake 3 is doing some wacky things with was it the sine roots? There's some funky things that Quake 3 is doing to simplify the math to keep things performant. And it's still a bit of a mystery. It's an odd piece of code. And I know it's been reported. I know Scientific American just had an article about that. So you want to know the history of this, it's out there. So basically, I'm going to set the actor rotation to follow the direction that we're gonna walk in. And I'm going to do this with set move direction. is close to target, and I'm just going to grab this code up here. Direction. This is going to be return. Direction. So you're using length here instead of magnitude. So if the length is less than, what did I call the value? Sorry, point. Yeah, so I'm basically going to return basically the Boolean operation. This would have been shoved into an if statement. I mean, we're going to shove this into an if statement effectively, but this is like direction dot. If the length is less than point within range, I'll do less than or equal to, just so. I like using less than or equal to. So I basically can just call am I close to my target? Able to do the calculations. Could I have done this with less? I mean, more optimized without these variables? I could have. I could have called get actor and current point. I could have done this without. I'll do it. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I could have done. That's our location and current point. I can get rid of these now. I mean, same code. This isn't a, I just took out 2 local variables. Is it that big of a deal? Not really. This is I write out the code long way to make it easier to read. I'm doing a single operation. I'm getting information. I'm getting that, getting the direction I want. I'm normalizing it, and I'm assigning it. I've got some white space here I could take out. There we go. So I've got basically the 3 functions I'm going to need to write my code. I mean, goes in. This is a if is active. Sorry, if it's not active. If has capital H, has dynamic direction. Update. Set move. Wow, Visual Studio's being a pain today. So. So pretty much the code you've seen so far. I mean, the next step, let's do like move the actor. We'll come back to this in 1 sec. But this is a if is close to target. This is a update. All right, set next path point. I'm just going to copy paste because it's Visual Studio. Then I'll update move set move direction. F. Let me see. F vector location. Get actor location. f vector forward is equal to get forward vector. And then we can do location is equal to forward. Forward location, we do plus equals. It's going to be our forward vector times our move speed. Capital S. And then delta time. So we'll up now we know where our location is, where our forward vector. We can again set. Again, this is the delta on this frame, add it to the location, and then we can then set actor location. Check if we're close target and set up next path point if so. And there we go. This is pretty much, you know, the code that you've seen, you know, a little bit of variance. We needed to go, you know, rather than going to the game object in Unity, we basically went to the actor. I mean, I could have dropped this down here. But you know, I got my location, changed it again for ease of use of you know, writing our code. I, you know, made another variable. You know, could have just dropped that into here. No big deal. And that is basically our code. Let's go back to Unreal. It's been a little bit. Let's make sure everything compiles. And you can see it does. All right, I'm going to go into make a new blueprint class. Here's the PathRunner. And this is going to be BP underscore PathRunner. And again, I'm going to add... Sorry, this is the ad I want. I'll use cylinder again. Do I use cylinder? Or... I'll use the cone. That'll be more fun. Okay, so I'm going to take the point of the cone and put it down. So this should be, I think, a 90 degree. No, 90 degree here. No. Which axis? Wait. That's the wrong. That's the wrong axis. Is it, yeah, it's 90 on. I'm looking at. Hold on. I need to look at. Hold on. This is showing me it's a negative 90. So the key to what I'm looking for is down here. So I've got this pointed. So the gizmos are rotated locally. Is it right here? Yeah, this is local. Here we go. This is what I wanted the global. So I wanted to go in the opposite direction. This is a negative 90. So hooray, here's my cone. Let's give it not door again. I'll just make it wood. I will make it so it is in the ground. Let's 0.5. And 0.25. Oh, there you go. Oh, 25. Do 20. Let it slide a little bit into the ground. This should be okay. So it's just, I'm not going to go full. So this would be 25 if I wanted to fully out of the ground. I'm going to have it just slide a little bit into the ground just for our sake. Do I want to move it forward a little bit? Yeah, that will look better. So I'm being pretty. So basically this is going to be the orientation point, and then it's going to just sit right here with the bulk back here, and that'll make this look nice. What I just did is being pretty, and not necessarily like, if you want to leave this, I mean, at least pull it above the ground. You know, at least do that Z. I've got, there we go. So there we go. So I can compile that. And then we can go back into our so it's actually, it looks, I might go back and pull it up all the way. But we'll start with it not pointing at any of the points. I'll put this at 0, 0. Okay, so where is the collision? Where are they? Networking actor, where? Working input actor, where are all the values? Oh, wait a second. No, it is. What's going on? Is that what's going on? I've been disconnected again. Okay, let's. Oh, I think I know what I did. There we go. I probably didn't want edit. Let me see. Save you. Actually, I want to edit instance only. There we go. So one thing that I could do, so one thing to make this, one thing I would probably do is move this down the list, but I'm going to just go, and then I can go path point, and path point. So, and then I will save everything, and I can press play. That's not good. What did where's my BP pop? So this is where I'm going to go grab the current point. Path list. Yeah, I'll put this up here. I'm going to make it public, and I make it so I can see what's going on. Compile. What is going on? Where is PathRunner? Okay. What is my move direction then? What's going on with move direction? There's the PathRunner. Why is it going up? It's not even in the right direction. Stop it. So PathRunner starts 0, 0, 0. The first path point is at 0. What's going on? I'm going to go in and I'm going to... What's going on? Let's compile. Let's for the sake of argument, what's going on? Oh, I made a mistake. I don't need to get the forward vector. Because we have the move. There we go. I rotated the object. I rotated the object. I did a couple things. I needed to use my move direction, not the forward vector. So there we go. That's what I did wrong. Am I doing... What's going on? What is going on with the normalization? Or wait a second, put this back. Ugh. Why is it acting like it's in Unity? And there's my problem. It's a plus sign, not a multiplication. And this is what will drive you up the wall. Okay. This is why we test our code. And we make sure that it works before we submit our code to the repository. Again, we are all human. We make mistakes. AI is soulless. We'll always make a mistake and we'll always be trash. All right.
And dreams aren't perfect, neither can AI, because I think they're one and the same in how they work.
No. Dreams and AI do not work in the same way.
Well, at least generative videos are really reminiscent of dreams, in my opinion.
No. Behind all generative AI is a coin flip. I am not joking about this. It is just a coin flip to pick what I should use next.
I wasn't even saying it in a good way.
All right.
I meant the inconsistencies
moving.
in dreams.
Let's move on. Let's move on. There we go. See, let's look at the PathRunner. Do I have to multiply that by 360? Direction times. I'm just gonna. It is in degrees, so I didn't multiply it by 360. I think. Well, I'll leave it. I think 360 will probably work. It's probably not the rightest way, but let's go back. It is rotating. It's just rotating it just based on those. So I do, it looks like I do need the Z. I don't know what we're doing here. So I don't think Euler's is quite what I wanted, but we can worry about that another time. All right. So, you know, the only thing that's left is basically just to fix the facing. I'm not getting the correct rotator. Let's see if there's another. Clamp, make from Euler. Operator page quaternion. David. Inverse vector. That will give us what we will want. Yeah. It's not what we. I'll have to think about this later on. I'll just comment this out for right now. Don't worry about facing. That's perfectly fine if you don't worry about facing at the moment. Actually, there might be a set. No, we can get it. I'm blanking on the correct way to set the facing with a vector. So my apologies. So don't worry about facing. That is, you know, pretty. That's you do want to do that at some point. But I'm going to make that extra credit because I'm blanking on the correct way to set this. Obviously, in Unity, we had a way to set this easily. What is the hoops I need to jump through in Unreal? I'm blanking at the moment. So I'll probably make an announcement or add something to the document to be like, hey, here's the correct way to set the facing. So don't worry about that. Any questions for me? This is pretty straightforward. Those who are on Discord, my apologies. I've been disconnected a couple times. I have recorded the lecture, so for those of you on Discord, the video, I will upload the video as soon as possible. So, any questions from anyone in the room before I stop the recording? No. Show of hands, you guys feel comfortable with what the material I went over today? All right, cool. That's all of you. All right.